The story of Abu Bakr As-Siddiq, Rodiyallahu Anhu, who loved and cherished the Prophet Muhammad so deeply that he was willing to sacrifice his own life to save him. It was a quiet night. Darkness enveloped the Cave of Thawr, with only the gentle whispers of the wind accompanying them. Abu Bakr, Rodiyallahu Anhu, sat beside the Prophet Muhammad, who had finally fallen asleep after a long and exhausting journey. But Abu Bakr's heart was filled with worry. He knew the Quraysh were hunting them, and if they were caught, it could mean the end of Islam. For Abu Bakr, that was the greatest fear of his life. Abu Bakr could not sleep. His eyes never left the sight of the Prophet, peacefully resting beside him. His heart was full of prayers and hopes that the Prophet would remain safe. As he looked around the cave, his eyes fell on several small holes in the floor and walls. He realized that snakes or scorpions could emerge from those holes. He couldn't bear the thought of a venomous creature harming the Prophet. With trembling hands, Abu Bakr tore pieces of his own garment and covered the holes one by one. But the cloth wasn't enough, and there were still a few holes left. Without hesitation, Abu Bakr placed his feet over the remaining holes, determined to shield the Prophet from any threat lurking in the darkness of the cave. Time passed, and drowsiness began to creep over Abu Bakr. Suddenly, a sharp, searing pain shot through his foot. A poisonous snake had bitten him. His body tensed with unbearable pain, yet he held back any sound, refusing to disturb the Prophet as sleep. The pain intensified, but Abu Bakr bore it in silence, a tear slipping down his face. Not from the pain, but from the fear that he might not live to stay by the Prophet's side to protect him. At last, a tear fell from his face and landed on the cheek of the Prophet. The Prophet awoke and saw Abu Bakr in agony. "What has happened, O Abu Bakr?" he asked with gentle compassion. Abu Bakr tried to hide his pain, but the Prophet quickly realized what had happened. With great tenderness, the Prophet placed his blessed saliva on the wound, and by Allah's mercy, the pain vanished instantly. But the tension was not yet over. Suddenly, they heard footsteps approaching the cave. Abu Bakr's breath caught as he saw the shadows of the Quraysh searchers outside, so close that he could see their shadows on the cave floor. In fear, he whispered to the Prophet, "O Messenger of Allah, if they look down, they will see us." The Prophet calmly placed his hand on Abu Bakr's shoulder and looked at him with peace. "O Abu Bakr," he whispered, "what do you think of two people whose third is Allah?" In that moment, Abu Bakr felt a wave of calm fill his heart. He realized that Allah was with them, watching over them in that moment of fear. Tears streamed down his face, no longer from pain or fear, but from the love and trust he held for Allah and his messenger. Years later, Abu Bakr would become the first caliph, continuing the mission of Islam he had once protected with his own life in that cold, dark cave. In every trial he faced, he remembered that night, the night when he promised himself he would give his life for the love of Allah and his messenger. This story of Abu Bakr As-Siddiq, Rodiyallahu Anhu, his sacrifice and love for the Prophet Muhammad, is more than just a historical tale. It is an eternal example that provides essential lessons for us in modern times. Here are a few invaluable values we can reflect on and apply in our daily lives. Unwavering loyalty. Abu Bakr, Rodiyallahu Anhu, demonstrated that true loyalty comes from a sincere heart. When someone loves and trusts another person or cause with all their heart, that loyalty will not waver, even in the most challenging situations. This can remind us to always remain loyal to those we love, whether family, friends, or true companions, just as Abu Bakr always stood by the Prophet. Selfless sacrifice. Abu Bakr endured pain and risked his life solely to ensure the Prophet's safety. This teaches us the importance of selfless sacrifice. In daily life, We can strive to do good for others without expecting anything in return. True sacrifice brings happiness to others and, ultimately, peace to ourselves. Courage and fear. Abu Bakr may have felt fear as the enemy drew closer, but he chose to remain silent to protect the Prophet. True courage is not the absence of fear, but the bravery to act despite it. This reminds us to face our fears, whether fear of failure, rejection, or other obstacles. Directed courage, especially in protecting the truth and those we love, is one of the most noble qualities. Trust and dependence on Allah. When the Prophet told Abu Bakr that Allah is the third among us, it showed a profound belief that Allah is always with them, even in the most critical moments. For us, this is a lesson to trust that Allah never leaves us, especially when we feel alone and challenged. With this belief, we can find calm and strength to face the problems we encounter, knowing that Allah is always with us. Love and respect for leaders and role models. Abu Bakr's love for the Prophet was pure and filled with respect, not only as a friend, but as a follower to his leader. In our lives, we can also learn to respect and love those who serve as our role models, whether in faith, family, or work. Love that is rooted in respect will lead us to goodness and motivate us to become better. Does this story inspire you? How do you practice loyalty, sacrifice, or faith in your daily life? Or is there another story of the Prophet's companions that you find full of lessons and worth sharing? Tell us in the comments. Let's share inspiration and gain wisdom together.